Hello everyone, my name is Sam and I talk about my experiences as a queer person with chronic illness. If that sounds like something that you would like to watch, then please do click subscribe. Welcome to another Becoming Sam video. Today I want to close my chapter on my adventure in getting my Polish passport with the correct name and gender as a person who's a citizen there but has never actually technically lived there. I'm a citizen there by blood, but I've always lived in the UK, so the process was really extensive and also really expensive. This is kind of like the big conclusion, so if you want to see everything that happened up until this point, I'll link a playlist below so you can catch up on everything that's happened up until this very point. So in my last video, we left off on my court case in Poland, which was in early 2019. Everything went really well and really smoothly there, but I knew little of what was lying ahead of me. So I found out that the court can change your gender and approve that, but they apparently have little to do with actually changing your name. This basically meant that there was a whole extra process ahead of me that I didn't know I was going to have to face. And the first thing that we had to wait to even begin that process was for a letter to come through from the court with the official stamps and everything that basically said that my change in gender was accepted. I don't remember exactly when that paperwork came through, but I do remember that it took quite a few months. I had a little look through my Google Photos and my emails to see what I could find in terms of dates, and I found that I had an appointment at the embassy in May 2019. When I went this time, I had my paperwork with me and I went to the embassy and I had an appointment with somebody there. So I didn't go to get my passport or change my name really, it was more kind of discovering what the next steps were going to be. We sort of discussed some of the next steps and then I had to fill out some forms and also needed to write a letter to my supposed local council in Poland. This was kind of like a change of name declaration, kind of like a deed poll in the UK, but a lot weirder. I essentially wrote out this letter in biro with some probably terrible Polish spelling on the edge of a chair in the embassy and handed it in. It by no means looked official at all. However, they did accept it. I was told at that point that I'd be waiting around 3 months for my new birth certificate, which I was going to need in order to get my new passport. In June 2019, I got an email with a letter attached. It basically outlined my name change and a whole load of things that, to be honest, didn't make an awful lot of sense to me, but apparently my name change was being considered and I was going to hear back soon. Then in July 2019, I got another email informing me that I had some paperwork waiting for me at the embassy. I wasn't going to need to book an appointment, I just needed to come in and get it picked up. If I remember correctly, this was when I picked up my birth certificate. Now, a little note on my birth certificate, just for anybody who might be going through some of the process and is wondering, it was like what they call a full birth certificate. So the front page actually still had all of my old details, which kind of sucks, and then on the other side it's got like an amendments section, and that's where it said that my gender and name had changed. I have heard since that apparently you can apply for a shortened birth certificate where I think it would only be the amended sections on it. It's not something that I've done, it's not a process I've tried to do, but apparently that is something that you can do if you don't want to be outed by a birth certificate all the time. So just in case you were wondering. So once I had that paperwork, I then booked myself in for a proper appointment and I got that on the 30th of August. It felt kind of fitting because it's not long after my birthday, but things really didn't go as smoothly as I thought they would. When I turned up, I did what every other person did. I went and got my little ticket, which gives you a number for where you are in the queue. I got my forms and I started filling them out, attaching my photo and all of that good stuff. There was actually quite a significant queue, so I got chatting, even helped someone else with their form, and everything seemed quite normal at that point. I then got assigned to this really wonderful guy who I sort of explained the whole situation to. I'd like to have not, but given how complex it's been, I didn't want anything to go wrong, and I was handing over a lot more paperwork than the average person needed to give. A little bit of confusion later, he told me that I was going to need to wait for my new PESEL. Now, PESEL is basically like the equivalent of a national insurance number, and apparently it was going to change because both my name and my gender were changing. This unfortunately meant, though, that apparently I was not going to be able to apply for my passport that day. I was really distraught, to be honest. I left that embassy holding back tears, and I couldn't believe that what felt like was going to be the final step in a really long journey was still going to take longer. I started to head over to a local cafe where my partner was waiting for me when I got a call from a number I didn't recognise. I didn't pick it up because, you know, scams, but I did get a voicemail. I listened to the voicemail and it was the guy and he was telling me to come back to the embassy as quickly as I could. So I absolutely decked it there, made my way through security, found him again, and he told me that he did find my amended PESEL and it meant that I could actually apply for my passport on that day and just follow the rest of the normal process. It was honestly such a relief. I couldn't even process how I was feeling in the moment. It was all just such a wacky situation of a change of emotions. Like 5 minutes before I was trying not to cry in public, and then Again, I was trying not to cry, but because I was happy, it was a wild ride. I can't remember if I paid for my passport that day or not, but they were actually kind enough to give me a discount because I had like 7 or 8 years left on my passport still, so I didn't pay the full fee, which I think is kind of nice. And then October arrived and my passport was ready to pick up. In all its glory, this tiny little thing, and it brought me so much joy. I was honestly texting, I think, every single friend that I had, and it was here. I had finally managed to get it. Something that comfortably fits in my hand, yet felt so huge. So, that was it. Sorry some of the details were a little bit hazy. I have had this passport now for over 2 years, so I can't remember all the details, and it's kind of crazy to reminisce on all of these things now and just think about everything that I went through just to be recognised as myself. I do wonder now that, given that I've got an updated birth certificate, if that means I still need to go through the whole GRC process, because I essentially already went through a really, really strenuous process, so I wonder if that would form enough for me to get a new birth certificate in the UK or not. I'm not really sure how it works. If anybody knows, do let me know. I'm not in a massive rush, but it would be useful to know, especially ahead of things like, you know, marriage or something. I know when I started out in all this, it was so hard for me to find absolutely anything on this process. I went through all the forums, I was on like page 50 of Google, I was trying to find YouTube videos, and it was so hard to find any information about what it was to go through this process, especially as somebody who doesn't normally live in that country. If you have any questions at all whatsoever, please do leave them in the comments below. If you feel it's a bit too personal, you can DM me on my Instagram as well, which is @TheSamThatIAm, linked in the description. I want to help anybody who's going through this because it was really difficult and I'd love it to be easier for anybody else going through it. I hope this has been useful, or if you're going through this, that you at least have a basis of somewhere to start from. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.